Call. So today marks a few shifts that are coming, that are here now, and a kind of interesting topics that we're going to cover. So a bunch of things have been happening lately between me training very intensely for Ironman, me having my wife be away for 6 weeks at the clinic treating for Lyme's disease, being here with my 3.5-year-old daughter, being mom, being dad, and running my businesses. My hands are absolutely full. And I'm incredibly blessed with a lot of support from nannies and food preppers and assistants and all these people that make it all possible. And my hands are completely full managing it all. On top of that, I've discovered a new mentor over the course of the last month or two, and I've been doing some massive up-leveling myself and gaining amazing new insights and transformation and breakthroughs on completely new levels. And a couple of things are happening in the midst of all this. One is I have less to say right now. There's an integration process taking place where there's less, it's just not flowing through the same. And so I'm saying less, and will probably continue to do so for the next while until inspired otherwise. I want to touch a bit today on what's happening in Baltimore. For the sake of insight and transformation and empowerment for all of us. Welcome, Brandon.
What's up, man?
Welcome, man. I'm going to mute you out real quick. Thanks
Gotcha.
for coming, man. So I'm going to cover some around all of that, and then I'm going to cover a bunch of various topics. So some of the things that are changing. I've got a list of other topics that people have requested, and so I'm going to actually just basically cover almost all of them today, because a lot of them are kind of the scraggler topics that don't have a full, I wouldn't want to devote a full training to them. And so I'm going to cover a wide range of topics and go all over the place. What's going to change after this week is in Limitless Legion, I will no longer be doing a set weekly call. We will no longer have set Tuesdays at 2 Pacific. There's a training every single week. What it's going to be from here is it's going to be when I'm moved, when I'm inspired, when it boils up out of me, I will post a message and let people know, and I will show up and share, and we will go from there. So that's a massive adjustment that's going to happen here. We will no longer have set weekly calls here in Limitless Legion. It'll be go with the flow, when I'm inspired process. So with that being said, a couple of things to keep this Legion alive and well and kicking ass is keep posting, rewatch the other videos, show up for the ones that I record when I'm moved and inspired, and keep posting and sharing your breakthroughs and insights that you get as a result of these trainings. A lot of people keep having the tendency to want to get on and post positive memes and just kind of take the energy everywhere. And the most productive thing you can do for yourself and the group is to extract the learning lessons that you get from what happens here, and then share from that place so that others can witness your transformation and then be inspired to create the same for themselves. So some of the key topics that are left on my list are, one of them was, how do you be happy regardless of circumstances, someone asked. Someone else asked, how do you create fearlessness? Someone else asked, about self-love. We've covered a topic on self-love, and it's worth covering every day. It's basically the only thing at the root of everything. Another person asked for, how do we release pain from the past? And another one, letting go of social entanglements. And another one, how do I create personal empowerment? And another one, how do I build a speaking platform? And then another one, how do I balance masculine and feminine energies? And gender roles and healing with the opposite sex. And parenting and building new habits, getting out of comfort zone, opening your heart, and releasing attachment. So these are some of the list of topics. It's a wide range. There's a lot to cover. I'm going to start in with what's happening in Baltimore. I made a post about it last night, got a lot of traction, and it's so common for everybody to jump on the drama triangle and feel 100% justified and like 100%. It don't matter who they are. I got guns, I'll kill those bastards, all those sons of bitches, all those pieces of shit, all those black people, all those ghetto rats, all those white people. It's the cops' fault. It's the blah, blah, blah. And everyone jumps on the drama triangle because it's part of the human condition. It's part of the ego mind. It's part of the ego experience. And it's so easy to go there for every one of us. So easy. Because we feel feelings, and then we think thoughts, and we believe them. And we think that continuing to do the same shit that everyone's done for thousands of years to create and sustain war will somehow create peace. That turning around and judging somebody and killing somebody is going to create peace. That war brings peace. The notion that war brings peace, let me show you how asinine it is. Someone said it. It's been a while since I've heard it, and it's kind of vulgar, but it says, fighting for peace is like fucking for virginity. It's literally, that's the contrast we're talking about. If you're fighting for peace, you're fucking for virginity. This is why Mother Teresa said, if you have an anti-war rally, I won't be there. She said, if you have a pro-peace rally, I'll be there. But an anti-war, anti-anything, I won't be there. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. And he taught us to turn the other cheek, not meaning like let people trample us, but to show that we know we're not the body. We know that there's no offense. The offense is something I make up, and when I believe in the offense and turn around and condemn and crucify and attack and blame and any other of those things and jump on the drama triangle, then I am a part of the matrix. I'm a part of the illusion. I am a part of the problem. I'm simply joining in on the drama triangle, and then there's only a couple choices there. It's basically escalate, 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 and then someone dominates and the problem doesn't actually get healed at the root of the problem. The root of the problem is actually self-love. So let's look at the pain involved for all parties. So everyone's like, no, they're to blame, they're to blame, they're to blame. Everyone else is to blame outside. There's zero responsibility. Not one fucking person stood up and said, I created this. I'm a part of the problem. I take responsibility for this. I haven't heard one person say, I take responsibility. I've heard every person say, they're to blame, they're to blame, they're to blame, no, you, them, everyone. Oh, and I got the answers, and everybody has an opinion to voice about this. And 99.99% of the opinions mean absolutely shit. It's just one ego and persona arguing with another ego and persona. And then everyone divides into camps. Like there's these egos and these egos and these egos and these egos all opposing each other and all feeling justified and fucking brilliant in their viewpoints. If we want to actually resolve the problem, we must move from the fear, the judgment, the ego, the blame. And the blame's the biggest thing. If we're saying it's out there, there's three fingers back at us. If I'm saying it's the racists or the non-racists or the uneducated or the poor or the police or whatever, how is it that I'm a part of that? Am I not perpetuating the same blame game and attack game that they're doing right there? Is not everybody who's online right now bitching about it and pointing the finger a part of the war? Aren't they on the sideline cheering on the war and actually heckling the people on the battlefield and adding to the problem? Responsibility and curiosity and openness to wonder and learning. If we don't wake the fuck up as a human race and quit pointing fingers and attacking and blaming and criticizing and justifying and defending and believing our thoughts and choosing fear, nothing changes. It may even get worse. So the path to liberation, answering the call for love. In Love Without Conditions, he says, your purpose in life is to answer the call for love wherever you hear it. So let's look at every person involved. Let's look at the ghetto rats, the quote, ghetto rats. Dad wasn't there, don't have a great education, don't have a lot of hope. They are in more pain. They're in so much pain. This is simply, finally, after years and years and years of pain building up inside of them, it's simply an expression of their pain. Does that make it right? No. Does that justify it? No. Does that help everybody and serve everybody? Maybe, maybe not. If we looked at it, it would serve all of us. If we actually learned from it, it would serve all of us. But the more we point and blame and attack and look to, let's eradicate them. If we got rid of them, we'd be fine. If we got rid of them, we'd be fine. If we got rid of them, we'd be fine. Well, the problem is no two egos can agree with who we should alleviate and who we should not. You are the reason Hitler existed if you're playing a part of the blame game. Hitler would be laughed off the planet. Like if I stood up today and said, kill anyone who's not blonde with blue eyes, I might get my ass beat. But the reason why Hitler, we put all the blame on Hitler. But what about the millions upon millions upon millions of Germans who wanted to feel special and 100% bought in and supported that shit? And it's true all over the world. I'm American. I'm white. But I'm black. Like everyone's fucking proud of who they are, which is cool. But at the same time, we're everything and we're nothing. And the more I create division and separateness and say, I'm better than you because I'm Russian, I'm better than you because I'm American, I'm better than you because I'm German, I'm better than you because I'm Christian, I'm better than you because I'm any damn thing, you've lost ego, you're in judgment, you're in blame, you're in criticism, you're in holier than thou art, you're in all kinds of shit. And you're destroying yourself and society. You're a part of the problem. So if instead we said, what is the pain that everyone's experiencing? So there's some people that are like, oh, I had a crazy, hectic childhood growing up, and I just want stability. And when I see these riots, it triggers this unstableness inside of me, and I feel insecure and scared. And then I lash out in anger and start trying to blame other people. But the truth is, if I didn't blame or project on anybody, I would just acknowledge I feel scared. I value stability in society. What can I do to contribute to add to stability? If they were proactive and conscious, that's the approach they would take. Instead, they go to blame, because that's what our human condition requires of us. So the real question is, how do we answer the call for love to everyone involved? For the people who are scared about the stability of the American empire, the people who are concerned about the stability and well-being of humans in general, the people who are concerned about the well-being of firefighters and policemen and, safety for all and happiness and, liberty. Who all involved? Look, if you look and you get out of the conversation and don't get sucked into all the drama that everyone's spouting off. It sounds brilliant. It's very convincing. Makes total sense. Every point of view. If you tried it on, you'd try it on the ghetto rat's point of view. He's like, we've been oppressed. You've abused us for generation upon generation. You suppress us into these shitty ghettos. You beat us and kill us and unjustly, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I can see why they're upset. And the cops are like, hey, not all cops are dicks. I'm out here doing my job, and you're threatening my life. Not cool, dude. And we're like, yeah, I can understand. And then we look at the firefighters, we're like, what the hell? They're over there just trying to protect their shit and save it. And now they're attacking them. What the hell? That victim, villain, look at it. Obviously. So we continue the drama, and we're a part of it. So the key is shift to answering the call for love and pointing out what's right with each person and seeing what can we do to bring love to the ghetto rats? What can we do to bring love and peace to the policemen and to the firefighters and to all the people observing and everyone on all level? We're a bunch of people in costume. We're spirits of infinite potential in costume, believing in our limitlessness, our limitedness. We're believing in our limitedness and projecting that onto the world, living in it, operating from it. The path is to acknowledge. So here's the deal. If you beat a dog that's been beat too much, it gets even less confident, less secure, more wimpy, and acts even more stupid and makes you want to beat it even more. If you love a dog that's been beat too much, eventually it gets better. The people who are causing riots have been beaten a lot already. The people who are protesting, the protesters, the people who are attacking and blaming on all levels, every one of us is just calling out for love. Everybody. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care what, if they're at all playing into the drama on any level, from any angle, defending any part. They're simply calling out for love. And our job is to recognize that and answer it. And if you're an entrepreneur, it could actually be profitable. Because anytime you identify problems in the world and provide a solution to that problem, you've provided value, and dollars follow value. So you might ask yourself the question, what problems do I see that I can solve? And instead of sitting back and pointing the fingers, just like everyone else is doing, playing the blame game, you get in and become a part of the solution. Buckminster Fuller said something like, instead of fighting against the existing system or the existing problem, create a solution that renders the old system outdated, useless, and it'll automatically solve itself. The second we get on the blame game, whether it be in our personal relationships with ourselves, if we're blaming ourselves, we're no different than the people causing the riot. It's happening in our head the same way they're doing it outside. We're just judging that they're doing it, but we're thinking it. If I'm blaming myself for anything, I'm just like them. If I'm blaming others in my close relationships, same issue. If I'm blaming the times, I've seen it all. Like they say, yeah, the world's getting to be a darker and darker place. That is not my experience whatsoever. My world keeps getting brighter and brighter. So like if you think the world's getting to be a darker and darker place, you're absolutely right for you. But it don't have to be that way. So if you'll end the blame game with yourself, with your spouse, with your kids, with life, with the economy, with the government, with society, with blacks, with whites, with races, religions, colors, creeds, beliefs, everything. Stop blaming anybody or anything. Don't even blame, I'm miserable because I'm sick, or I'm sick because a bug bit me, or I'm in pain because, like, even that's blame. The second you say because, you've gone to blame. I'm not making money because I don't love myself. Blame doesn't solve the problem. So instead of saying, I'm not making money because I don't love myself, just fucking stop and love yourself. It's a wasted statement. I'm not making money because I don't love myself. What could I do to love myself? How about just stop and love yourself? How about focus on what you appreciate about yourself? How about give yourself tremendous compliments about what you're doing right now? Because here's the deal. When we raise our frequency, we attract what we want to us very rapidly. If I'm feeling like a piece of shit, I don't attract what I want. I attract what I don't want. If I'm feeling like you're a piece of shit, I attract what I don't want because I'm just projecting on you what I feel about me. If I sit and think, what's wrong with me? I need to fix me. It's a long journey. If I just keep working diligently, eventually I'll have myself fixed, and then I'll be worthy, and then I can have the life of my dreams. It's never coming. But if you just stop right now and say, this is what I'm doing right. This is what I love about myself. This is what I appreciate about myself. This is what I'm doing incredibly well. This is what you're doing incredibly well. And I give love and receive love, and I give appreciation and receive appreciation, and I live from a space of wonder rather than defense, rather than being right, rather than fixing, rather than waiting. I'm in a space of wonder, a space of curiosity, a space of openness. The number one skill you could ever have in life is probably openness to learning. Maybe the only thing bigger than that's probably like just love, gratitude, appreciation, honor, respect. So voicing compliments and appreciation for yourself and others constantly. If you point out what's right with you, it's the fastest path to raise your frequency. So it's like my kids. If I slap the shit out of my kids all the time, the chances are they're going to grow up and slap the shit out of people and feel shitty about themselves and make choices that reflect in their success. If I teach my kids, if I fully love my kids, the chances are their frequency raises clear up here to where even if they tried some stupid shit, they're like, you know, they get drunk or do drugs or do some experimental sex or whatever that we try to control and judge and condemn and beat the shit out of them for. If we beat the shit out of them, they just go do it more because they feel even less worthy. If we raise their frequency by loving them fully, they may even try it and they'll go, ah, that's a lower frequency than I already had. Why the hell would I do that? Like, I used to drink alcohol to feel good. Then when I started actually feeling good and loving myself, the alcohol, you know, it used to be I was here miserable, more like here miserable. And then I'd suffer through the week, doing a job I didn't love, struggling through my relationships, doubting and fearing everything, not loving myself. Weekend would come, it's like, let me go drink some alcohol so I can escape the feelings I don't want to feel. and feel like I'm 10 foot tall and bulletproof, because the truth is I feel constricted by a life I don't love. Then I would feel this high, followed by a low, and in a recovery, and in the next weekend, and I'm spending most of my time recovering to create and synthesize a false high all over again. Then as I learn to love myself and raise my frequency, and I'm eating only foods that raise my frequency, I'm starting to think thoughts that raise my frequency, I'm starting to feel feelings that raise my frequency, I'm starting to do what I love for a living, I start to create amazing relationships, I start to alleviate and remove people who are not on the highest level and vibrating in that higher level with me, and I do all these adjustments, and pretty soon I drink alcohol and it brings me down here, and I'm like, why the hell would I want to do this? Feels way better to not do this. It used to be a short-term fix to make me feel like something was awesome with the fall, and it was kind of somehow I justified it. But then when I start feeling like this and I drink alcohol and it's clear down here on this frequency, now I'm like, fuck that. Not even worth it. Right? Well, that's just alcohol. I'm not just talking alcohol. I'm talking about everything in life. I'm talking about if the ghetto rats felt this frequency of happiness and love and support, they wouldn't do stupid shit. If our kids felt this level of frequency of love and support and confidence, true confidence, and acknowledging their greatness, no desire to do stupid shit. They might try it and go, no, this feels better. So it's not about abusing someone better. That's never going to work. Two negatives doesn't make a positive in psychological, emotional world. We may have made that shit up for mathematics' sake, but it's not how it works in psychological, emotional world. Me smacking the shit out of someone doesn't make them happy. It doesn't make them more loving. And smacking the shit out of them is just a symbol of what we do to ghetto rats and to politicians and to the Republicans and the Democrats, and like we blame everybody and everything. It's the fucking Democrats, they're the problem. No, it's the Republicans, it's the liberals, it's the conservatives, it's the black people, it's everybody, it's them. It's me. Then the solution, if I blame and I say it's me, I'm the fault, I'm the problem, I'm to blame, then I'm still part of the problem. I'm still in the mix. I'm still blaming. But if I just go, not I'm to blame, I'm responsible. And I can create something better. And so I'm going to focus on what's right with me. And I'm going to give myself love and appreciation and compliments, and I'm going to raise my frequency so that I make cooler choices. And then I'm going to see what all I can do to help others raise their frequency so that they'll make more conducive choices. My kids, we think that giving a spouse a guilt trip is somehow going to bring closeness and help shit work out better. So we use manipulation and control and guilt and shame and projection and attack and criticism, and somehow that's supposed to make us closer and make our relationship better. It's pure insanity. So here's some of the other topics. How do you be happy regardless of circumstances? The root is love yourself. Path to loving yourself is appreciating and honoring and respecting and complimenting yourself and doing nice things for yourself. Like, how would you treat yourself if you were your best friend? How would you treat yourself if you were your ideal mate? How would you treat yourself if you were your precious angel? Say maybe you tried for 10 years to have a kid and you couldn't, and you finally had a precious angel. How would you treat that precious angel? Start treating yourself that way and see if your frequency raises, and see if you'll allow yourself to have full-out success instead of, when you abuse yourself, having to struggle and suffer and fight through life. How do I be happy regardless of circumstance? The shift moves that I've taught, 4 stages of life video that I've shared here in the group. How do I shift? Physiologically, I breathe. There's a lot of things. I breathe. I shift my body posture. I move. I speak unarguably. I listen consciously. I appreciate instead of blame. I ask a wonder question. I recommit. There's a whole list of shift moves that I've shared that allow us to get back to a place of peace. Scripturally, it said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else will be added unto you." Take that non-religious, and what it means is get yourself in a place of peace, and everything, you will have everything you've ever wanted. If you first generate peace. So we think, I'll get money and then I'll have peace. I'll get sex and then I'll have peace. I'll get the relationship and then I'll have peace. I'll get sanity and then I'll have peace. I'll come to understand what's happening in my crazy, chaotic world and then I'll have peace. All of that is bullshit. You'll have peace when you choose right here, right now. I choose peace, and you breathe and you just experience peace. It's not about knowing. It's not about understanding. It's not about figuring it out. It's not having it all pieced together. It's not, you got to stop being scared of being confused. You got to be okay with being confused. Be okay with not knowing. Be okay with not having control. Be okay to surrender and ride the wave and just breathe and generate peace right here, right now, because of what you're focused on. If you're focused on, oh, I'll have peace once I have a stable home, once I have my mind calmed down, once I have a control and a handle on everything, once I have life figured out and all this makes sense, then I'll have peace. Once I have an ideal relationship, once my wife agrees with me and likes me, once my spouse fucking does what I want him to do, once everything lines up, then I'll have peace. No, it's not going to happen. Once I have $1 million, I'll have peace. Nope. Now you just be fearful that you're going to lose it. You will have peace when you choose peace. You have peace when you create space within you, when you breathe. And you relax. And you choose love and appreciation and gratitude and compliments. And instead of letting your mind incessantly run you around like a fucking tail that wags a dog, you are not your mind, and your thoughts are not real. And the more you try to make sense of it all and package it all and control it all and put all the pieces together and understand it all, the more you drive yourself mad. Just surrender. You don't need to understand it. You don't need to figure it out. You don't need to fix it. You don't need to control it. You don't need to package it. You don't need to anything. Just breathe and choose peace now and allow the wave to take you. These are some cool key tips to how you get to be happy regardless of circumstances. There are some powerful processes. If we were in an interactive workshop, there's some very powerful processes I would take you through that would teach you how to source your own well-being regardless of what's happening to you. We're not going to create that here on this call today. Someone asked about fearlessness. Fearlessness is not desirable to me. Fearlessness is not obtainable. It's not obtainable and it's not desirable. The real formula is feel the fear and do it anyway. If you were without fear, you would die within a day. You would make all kinds of horrible choices. You'd run yourself broke. You would screw up all your relationships, and you would get your body killed. If you had zero fear, you'd just, oh yeah, that's a street with traffic, oncoming traffic. No fear. Oh yeah, if I go have sex with this other woman, probably wreak big havoc on my relationship. No fear. Oh sure, if I beat the hell out of this dude, I might go to jail. No fear. Fear is your servant. Fear is your friend. The difference is when we let it control or contain us. So we don't seek to alleviate fear. If we're doing that, it's probably that we're scared of fear, right? So it's like this infinite loop that feeds itself. So what if we embraced fear? And we said, yep, fear is normal, fear is natural, I love my fear, I embrace my fear, and I am able to be present with myself and see when fear is keeping me safe and appreciate the wisdom of that and utilize the wisdom that it brings to me. So visualize fear as a person. You're like, oh, I'm about to walk out in the street, and this little angel pops up that we call fear. It's like, hey man, be careful, you might get hit by a car. Oh, thank you. And then you go, and if I do it this way and time it this way and push this button and run like this, then I'll get across the street just like I wanted, and I was safe. Thank you. So like, instead of like getting rid of fear and like, shut up, and just jumping in the street and getting run over, we have another person on the committee. It's like fear. Hey, be careful, don't get hit. Thank you. Hey, run fast, then you'll get there. Thank you. Right? So we got this committee that's supporting us, and they're all just as important. So we're not trying to get rid of fear. We're embracing it and appreciating it for the teacher that it is, for the wisdom that it brings, for the safety that it brings. Then we continuously move through our fear and realize over and over and over again that we always survive, that we always expand, that everything we've ever feared, I feared getting in relationship, I feared losing relationship, I feared having my spouse cheat on me, I feared becoming an alcoholic, I feared losing my business, I feared going bankrupt, I feared expanding into my greatness, I feared having sales conversations, I feared claiming my voice and sharing my gift with the world. I feared everything that I've ever tried that was worth anything, and all of those things have been my greatest teachers. I feared pain. The more you judge pain, the more you stay in fear, and the more you stay stuck. Oh, I wouldn't want to get hurt emotionally, mentally, physically. I wouldn't want to face fear. So then you just stay stuck. You just walk forward a little bit, and then you get scared and back up, and then walk forward a little bit, get scared and back up. So you can never complete anything. You'll never be an Ironman. You'll never complete a marathon. You'll never launch a business. You'll never complete a marketing campaign. You'll never complete a relationship. You'll never anything if you keep living in fear. But if you try to live fearless, it's not going to happen. And then if you could figure out how to live fearless, it would rob you from such tremendous, valuable, priceless wisdom and insight that you would create one hell of a mess. That's if you could even survive for a day, which you couldn't. So it's not about fearlessness at all. It's about how do I feel that fear, be present with it, be able to shift into my cognitive problem-solving thinking versus my fight or flight response so that I can think clearly to generate solutions to positively move forward with ease and grace to create what I choose to create in the most safe and effective way. It's not about fearlessness. It's about feeling the fear, shifting, and moving forward and doing it anyway. And realizing after we've expanded, well, all I've realized after facing my fears over and over again is not only do I survive every single time, I become stronger, smarter, and more fulfilled. I mean, a path to liberation could be as simple as, I'm just going to make a list of all my fears and go do them. Jump out of a plane. Jump off a cliff. Like, be smart. Like, don't kill yourself, right? Be strategic. Listen to the rest of the committee about how to be safe and whatever, right? But go do all that shit you're scared to do. Have those sales conversations. Approach that person you would love to be in a relationship with. Approach that perfect 10 that you're scared that may reject you. Face that rejection. Face claiming your voice and having people laugh at you and call you names. Face it all. Just go into it one step at a time. And what you will find is every time you face into your fear, you go, oh shit, wasn't near as scary as I thought it was. And now I feel even more powerful and free and peaceful than ever before. It was so worth it. That's my spiel on fearlessness. Self-love. I already did a training on this, but here's the bottom line. If you don't love yourself, your relationships suck. If you don't love yourself, your finances suck. If you don't love yourself, you are not happy. You are not peaceful. You are not fulfilled. You cannot love your neighbor. You will never experience true success. Even if somehow you figured out how to make money, scamming people or whatever, you're not truly happy or successful. You have an emptiness and a void inside of you. If you're dealing with addiction, it's because you don't love yourself. If you have a hard time public speaking, it's because you don't love yourself. If you're scared to claim your voice, it's because you don't love yourself. If you're scared to launch a package or program or service, it's because you're not loving yourself. So the question comes, well, how do I love myself? That's what I was telling you a minute ago. Appreciate yourself, honor yourself, respect yourself, embrace your wholeness. It's what I don't want you to take is, okay, now I got this long journey to learn to love myself. I've got to go figure out how to love myself. I need to read 18 million books and attend 1,800 seminars and get a whole bunch of coaching, shell out a bunch of cash, and search and dig and search and dig and search and dig about how to love myself. No, just stop, breathe, and start acknowledging your greatness and what you're doing right, and stop acknowledging what you're not doing right, what you judge to be doing wrong. It's just a judgment, just a story. All of it is of service to you. All the pain, all the struggles, all the failures are part of the success. They are part of the transformation. They are part of the growth. You cannot do it wrong. You are on purpose right here, right now. Everything you are doing is serving your highest purpose and highest good. If you want life to fully bless you, fully bless life. If you want life to fully bless you, become the greatest version of yourself and watch it magically unfold before your eyes without even trying. Before that, it's a whole lot of trying, a whole lot of striving, a whole lot of doing. Blaming everything outside of you for your success or lack thereof. Self-love is the root of all goodness. Next topic, releasing pain from the past. There's a lot of processes. You can do breath work. You can do rebirthing breath work. You can do radiance prenatal water processes. You can do breath work on land. You can do breath work in water. You can do breath work in cold water. You can do breath work in hot water. You can do medicinal journeys. You can do yoga. You can spend time in nature. You can do a juice fast. You can get energy work done. You can get coaching sessions and really powerful processes. There's a whole bunch of things that I've done to release pain from the past. You can talk about it. You can journal about it. You can have conversations with people. A big part of it is learning how to communicate unarguably. A big part of it is stop blaming. Stop blaming your parents for what you're experiencing today. Stop blaming your past for the struggles. Instead of blaming like, I'm just unhappy because all this shitty childhood I had, and now I'm all unhappy And so I'm unhappy and screwed up because of my childhood. And once I figure this out, so the problem is that I don't have it figured out. So now you're blaming again. So you blamed your childhood for your unhappiness. Then you blamed not having it figured out for continuing to be unhappy. Then you blamed that no one understands you for being unhappy. And then you blamed that, you know, whatever, all this shit. And then you blame, like, well, it's because I have the wrong thoughts. It's because I think wrong. It's because I'm fucked up. It's because I'm fundamentally flawed. It's because all this shit. Still blaming. But if you just stop blaming and started appreciating, thank you so much for the pain I'm experiencing now to help me uncover the truth about who I am, to help me remember to come home to myself, to connect with myself, to be me, to slow down, stop looping out and worrying so much about what other people think of me, what other people say to me, what other people do. Stop basing my well-being on stuff being so looped out into the world and what's happening out there and just coming home to me. Thank you for the pain. The pain is my liberation. The pain is showing me. The pain is wisdom. Letting go of social entanglements. Same thing. If you love yourself and you're focused on showing people what's right with them instead of arguing with them and trying to prove that you're right, there's no entanglement. See people as equals, treat them with love and impeccable integrity, make clear agreements, remove yourself from negative situations and environments and people that all they want to do is tear you down. Stop engaging with people's arguments and their attacks and their judgments and just give them back the love that you know they're crying out for. Those are some keys to letting go of social entanglements. Personal empowerment, we've already addressed that. It's everything we've been talking about. Building a speaking platform, there's a lot to that, but basically find what if, you know, your greatest mess becomes your greatest message. So discover your main stories of adversity that you've overcome and share those continuously. Be your marketing. Be it every day. Vibrate and share the light. Stop hiding your light under a bushel. There's a lot more to that, but I don't want to go into depth about it. But the basic essence is love yourself. Identify your key stories and obstacles you've overcome, and turn around and assist others to do the same. So balancing masculine and feminine, very important thing. If you're too much in your masculine, then whether you're man or woman, you can be too much in your masculine. So then you're doing. Well, I talk about be, do, have. If you're always doing, you're unaligned with your true nature, so you're out of integrity because you're a human being, not a human doing. And if you're busy doing, then you're going to be preaching a message like life's hard, life's miserable, work, suffer, struggle, do. And even notice when you say do, it sounds like do. So when we think masculine and feminine, I want you to think about basically sperm and the egg. You look at a big creation. One of the most magnificent creations in the world is the creation of a baby. A sperm, you know, a whole bunch of sperm go on a mission. And they see who's the strongest, who's the fastest, and who stays on course, and only one will win. Only one. There can be only one. Meanwhile, the egg is just like, sure nice in here. Perfect temperature. I swear, it feels like there's no gravity in here. Just like floating around. Couldn't be easier. Got everything we need. There's nothing to do. Just be. I love being the egg. It's easy. It's waiting to receive. Everything I need and want's coming to me. So there's two energies happening. If you want to understand masculine and feminine, think about every characteristic you can identify about the sperm. Busy, in a hurry, focused, go, 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 seek, seek, seek. It's like a soldier or a warrior, seek and destroy, like we're on a mission. And the other half of the equation, the other extreme is there's nothing to do, only be. And you'll hear both these sides. You'll hear the movie The Secret. Oh, just be. That's all you got to do is just be. And then you'll hear a warrior over here. Fuck that! It's just do! You gotta do the fucking work! Don't be a pussy! Let's go! That's all you hear over there. And neither of those work. These guys get frickin' chronic fatigue and adrenal fatigue and all burnout, and they have all these other habits of alcohol and drugs and sex and all this shit they try to do to cope for all their doing this. And they're constantly sending a message of life is hard, life is a war, life is miserable, get tough, deal with it, accept it, hurt, suffer, struggle, and that's the message over here. The message over here, oh, just breathe and it'll come to you. Neither of these is fully true. They're only partially true. They're both true, and they're both not true. So how do we create both? A perfect balance of both. In the creation of the baby, it's both. One part this, one part this. Women, you get too much in your masculine, don't be surprised if your sex life goes to hell. Don't be surprised if you start emasculating your man and if shit gets ugly. Men, get too much in your masculine, don't be surprised when you feel empty all the time and your sex is just sex. It's not actually a deep connection. And if you think that, no, that's all I want, and you discover that, then you're in your masculine too much. But if you're in your masculine too much, you will end up with chronic fatigue and adrenal fatigue and all this other shit, and you will be disconnected from your relationships. You won't actually give a shit about people. You won't actually create deep connection. You won't actually sustain your success. You will push and push and push, and then you will burn out, and chances are you'll hit a midlife crisis at some point and go do some crazy ass shit and throw it all away. Whether you're a man or a woman, you have both feminine and masculine in you. Men, you're scared to embrace your feminine because you don't want to be gay because you've been conditioned that you might be gay, you might be a pansy, you might be all this shit, you might be weak. And so, men, you hold back and you don't go there, and you don't know what to do with your feelings. You've been taught that your fear is weakness, that your sadness is weakness, and that your anger needs to be controlled and suppressed, and that everything's wrong with you. So you blame your anger, you blame your sadness, you blame your fear, and you try to control it all, and you walk around like a fucking robot and then wonder why life shows up to you like a robot. And women, when you get too much in your masculine energy, you are an absolute bitch to relate to. You are absolutely emasculating and disconnected and mean and rude. And women, you think men are vicious? Men don't hold a candle to your viciousness when you get pissed. Your nature is kindness and nurturing and love and gentleness. And then when you're triggered, watch out. And the meanness does not work. And emasculating your partner does not work. And even in same-sex relationships, same issue exists. If the polarity goes, the attraction goes. If the polarity falls away, the attraction falls away. There must be polarity, and there must be a balance. So ultimately, can you fully embrace your masculine and fully embrace your feminine so that you can be in power in both spaces? The person who can be in power in any environment is the person who is fully liberated. Could you be at a church and be at peace? Could you be at a monastery or a temple or a yoga studio or an all-women's retreat or Burning Man or in the wild or on an adventure retreat or anywhere? Could you be anywhere? In a mosh pit, at a concert, at a heavy metal concert, at a classical music concert, at a symphony? Could you be in a dark alley? Could you be in a bar? Could you be in a biker bar? Could you be in a gay bar? Could you be in an all, whatever, an all-men warrior group? Where could you be and still be in power? If you can be all of those and be in power in all of those, you're fully liberated. If not, you're not. If you're only embracing one aspect of any aspect of you, you're only embracing part of you, and you're limiting your power. So embrace both your masculine and your feminine fully. Be able to go both those places 100%. And then in your relationship, be aware that whoever's choosing to be masculine, there must be a masculine and feminine. Otherwise, if you take two magnets and they repel. Facing the other way, they draw. Repel, draw. Same thing. Polarity in relationship with masculinity. Now, relationships exist only between equals, so don't get in your ego and think that it's about being a macho dick or an overly feminine person. I've been on both sides of that equation. I've been so masculine that I was disconnected and unavailable, and I've been so feminine that there's no way she could be attracted to me, because it's not like there's no primal. Everything primal would say, that guy can't protect me, couldn't protect my children. If I go with him, if I mate with him, we're all going to die. So there's these primal instincts that come up, and that primalness will literally say, don't have sex with that man. Yes, you love him. Yes, he's your husband, but he's a pansy and we'll all die. Don't breed with him. So find that balance to be able to have both. Okay, so yeah, and the bottom line is test it, guys. Just embrace all of it. Just test it. Just get outside your comfort zone and try new shit and see what happens and adjust, and know that you're constantly going to be off course, and that a plane is off course 99% of the time, and as long as it keeps course correcting, then it gets there. Same shit for you. When you navigate so damn scared that you're going to make a mistake, and so fucking caught up in your perfectionist personas of doing it right and getting it all perfect, then no wonder why you move at 1 mile per hour when you could be moving at 100 miles per hour. Just fucking fly. And when you notice you're a little off, just adjust a little bit. It's not scary. It's not scary to be rejected. It's not scary to look like an idiot. It's not scary to do stupid shit. It's scary to hold back and then die not having lived your life full out and fully expressed. That's what's scary to me. Maybe, I guess. Maybe even that's not scary, but I'd choose the first, living full out and taking those risks, over the latter. So gender roles and healing with the opposite sex is a topic someone requested. So this is a big issue. Men think, and people think, this is a man's job and this is a woman's job. And even after I identified that most of that was bullshit, I still had tendencies for years to have those things playing in the background. So don't just think that because consciously you've adopted a new idea, you've cleared it out. Energetically, it's still in your system. And there's a process of integration to fully embody concepts that aren't just concepts in your head, but you've actually embodied them and lived them 100%. So if you think this is what a woman's supposed to do or this is what a man's supposed to do, you are in a bullshit persona and belief about gender roles. Every woman is different and every man is different, and if you want to be happy, don't try to get someone to fit in a box that you've made up as the box they're supposed to fit in, because that's what your parents did and that's what their parents did, and that's the operating system that was handed down to you from previous generations. If I gave you a computer that my grandma gave to me, you'd throw the shit in the trash. Quit fucking thinking through your life and processing your life through the thought processes and the operating system that was handed down to you from generation to generation to generation that's keeping you stuck in your bullshit. Upgrade that shit. Create a connection to source that gives you constant inspiration and downloads and upgrades so you can find a higher truth. And the truth that I've found is my wife has a unique purpose and passion and an expression of her highest essence in this world. And the number one thing I can do is to assist her in expressing that fully, not in fucking trying to get her to fit into some box that I've made up she needs to fit in. And even she has a challenge letting go of that shit. Like, oh, I should at least do the laundry. I should be able to prep meals. I should be able to clean the house. If it doesn't light, and what I tell her, if it doesn't light your soul on fire, I don't want you to do it. My wife has such infinite depth and wisdom and consciousness and love and transformation to offer the world, it makes zero sense for her to spend time doing laundry and cleaning a house and prepping meals if it doesn't light her soul on fire. And monetarily speaking, if she loves sharing those gifts and she doesn't love doing those other things and she does share those gifts, the world will bless her with tens, if not hundreds, if not millions of thousands of dollars for sharing her greatest gifts. And it's very easy to hire help to get the logistics of daily life handled. Super simple. Very cost effective. Doesn't even hold a candle to the value that one can provide when they're coming from their heart, coming from essence, coming from their power, shining their light fully. Dollars follow value. Follow your heart, provide the value, and you will have zero limitations on having to do anything that you don't absolutely love to do. So the other part of gender roles is healing with the opposite sex. Bottom line, every time you think a blame thought about anybody or anything, the posture is this. And in this posture, there's one finger pointing forward and there's at least three pointing back. So any thought you have about women or men or the opposite sex, that you can't trust them, they're unfaithful, they're undependable, women are too damn moody and emotional, men are too insensitive, all men want is sex, all these bullshit stories that you run about the opposite sex. Every time you catch yourself thinking one of those, stop right in your tracks and say, I do not see the world the way it is. I see the world the way I am. I've chosen to believe that women are bitches or that men are assholes or that whatever I've chosen to believe. And I no longer choose to reinforce that. Instead, I'm going to take 100% responsibility, and instead of saying women are bitches or men are assholes or whatever your favorite flavors are, say, in the past, I haven't loved myself enough and been connected enough to myself to attract the relationships that I've wanted. And I've allowed and attracted people into my world who didn't love themselves because I didn't love myself, and I attracted people perfectly who vibrated on the same frequency as me so that they could show me what I didn't love about myself, so that I could remember to love myself. And so I'm done blaming all the relationships of the past. I'm done blaming the opposite sex. I'm done blaming my exes. I'm done blaming my dad and my mom and anybody or anything at all. And I now take 100% responsibility for who I've drawn into my life. And I'm not even taking blame. In fact, I take responsibility with gratitude. And I send a prayer of love and appreciation to all who have hurt me. Who have hurt me, because they can't hurt you. I send a prayer of gratitude and love and appreciation to all who I have perceived to have hurt me. And I say thank you for teaching me who I am and who I'm not. Thank you for showing me the parts of me that I didn't love. Thank you for reminding me to love myself and to come home within myself. Thank you for playing the perfect role to show me what I didn't want to see so that I could be fully liberated. Thank you. You're the greatest gift in the world. I would not be here speaking to you right now if it was not for my ex-wife. She doesn't probably know it, but I love and appreciate her beyond measure. If there's a heaven and we get past all our ego shit and I see her as my sister on the other side, I will embrace her and I will weep for being the greatest role of positivity in my life, even though in the moment I thought she was the greatest role of negativity in my life. For behold, I have sent you nothing but angels. Everything is a gift. Everything is a gift. Every complaint people hurl at you, every attack they hurl at you, every name they call you, every judgment and criticism they gave you, every time they bullied you and withdrew love from you and abandoned you, all of it was a gift. And when you choose to stop blaming anybody or anything for your life, for your world, for your reality, for your results, and instead you start thanking everybody and everything for every gift and every teacher and every opportunity, because everything that has happened in your world has been a gift to serve your liberation, your transformation, and your full enlightenment. When you own that, you take responsibility for it, you receive it with gratitude, and you say, welcome. Thank you, pain, for being here. Thank you, fear, for being here. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for guiding me and teaching me and enhancing me and improving me. Thank you for this upgrade. Thank you. There is nothing in your life that you have ever faced that did not make you stronger and smarter and more capable. And everything that felt like a trauma or a setback was only that because of your judgment and blame of it. And the way you heal it is to stop blaming and attacking and projecting on it. And instead to thank it and appreciate it and move forward with gratitude. When you stop blaming the opposite sex and your exes for your pain, and instead you appreciate them for the gift, the tremendous, amazing, priceless gifts they brought you. And when you start viewing them, if anything, if you need to view it like this, view it as they were one of your best friends in heaven, and they committed, they're like, I'll meet you down there, and I'll be a jerk to help you learn exactly what you said you wanted to learn, and then we'll meet back here and we'll be like, that was awesome, and we'll be best buddies again. and that it's not what we think it is while we're here. We're just all in costume, and someone showed up in costume and played the role of that costume. They're like, you're in the Spider-Man costume, and they showed up in the Green Goblin costume, and they said some mean things to you, and we knew it was just a costume party. The whole time we knew it was just a costume party. But we showed up to the costume party in character, and Green Goblin said some mean things to Spider-Man, and now you're all upset and thinking that it's real, thinking that it really matters, just because someone in a Green Goblin costume said some mean shit to Spider-Man. That's how silly it is. They're playing the perfect role to help you accomplish what you came to accomplish. If you realized the beauty of what they're doing for you, you would be thanking them profusely and wishing nothing but love and peace and happiness and joy upon them. And when you can do that to the opposite sex, you will, and you do that within yourself, and you embrace your masculinity and femininity within yourself, you will find it easy to attract a partner who is balanced with their own masculine and feminine energy, and together you will co-create magic. And what you can co-create together is much greater than you can create on your own. And you will never think another thought about how women suck or men suck. There will come a time when you will be just think pure, wow, women are so tremendous and such a blessing and gift, and vice versa. Men are such a tremendous gift. Any one of your stories and beliefs and thoughts about its opposite sex that has anything to do with tearing them down, suppressing them, putting them in a box, judging, criticizing, or condemning them is not truth. It's not real. It's something you're believing and you're focusing on, and it's creating a miserable reality for you. And it's a choice. Next question, parenting. My simple #1 rule for parenting is this. Anytime you have an issue with a child, clear it up in yourself, and then it will automatically clear up with the child. The issue is not in the child. The child is a perfect angel who came to the planet perfect. They're more here to teach you than you are here to teach them. Christ told us, return, become like the child. If we would just watch and observe and become more like them, feel our feelings fully, follow our heart, play full out, fully express ourselves, not give a shit what people think about us. All these things that kids do, life would just happen naturally and effortlessly, and everything would flow. And we would enjoy it. We would love it. It's when we stop being a child that shit got ugly. And as parents, we were conditioned to, like our parents made it, like they're like conditioned us to stop being a child. And then we turn around and do it to the next. In Scripture it said the sins of the fathers will be passed upon the sons for 7 generations. Same shit. Well, if I sit and make you grow up and tell you, grow up, stop acting like a 2-year-old, get your shit together, what's your problem? Why are you acting like that? And all these things, I'm passing the sins of the fathers on to the sons, or mothers to daughters, same shit. Love is the answer. And if you clear up, if you notice you're in drama with your child, just like what I'm saying about blame, just like in what's happening in the riots, they're to blame, they're to blame. You're going, that child's doing this. And instead of stopping and saying, wow, I notice I feel scared. So recently my 16-year-old got into some things a few months ago that I felt some fear around. And I was like, oh, I notice I feel scared. And I talked to her, and instead of like all this control and Nazism and like, I acknowledged my feelings and my fears, and I spoke to her in a way that allowed her to open up to me and express fully what she was experiencing and wanting. I didn't condemn her. I didn't pressure her. I didn't make her feel like shit. Instead, I reinforced what was right about her, what was amazing about her, and spoke about how I felt scared. and shared some real life experiences of things that I had done. The other thing we tend to do is not tell them our mistakes because we want them to think that we're perfect, and then they carry on doing the same shit, not expressing and trying to be perfect. So instead I said, yeah, I tried this, and this is what I got. So I'd advise you might, that's probably not what you want. And I tried this, and so I was able to just be real, like, this is all of me. This is the shit I've done. This is what it cost me. This is how it turned out. You might want to watch out for that. Oh, by the way, did I tell you how amazing you are? And how I love and honor such great choices that you make? And how wise you are for your age? And how beautiful and talented and capable you are? And how I know that you're destined for greatness? Boom! Frequency raises. I gave her insight to know what the hell to look for so that she knew how to take her own journey. I told her that I trusted her to take her own journey, that she was amazing beyond measure. Her frequency raises. She now has the tools to cope with what reality is instead of living in a bullshit reality about perfect world and how I'm perfect and how I'm keeping my shit secret. And then I wonder why you're keeping your shit secret. And instead of sharing the lessons that I got with you so that you can save yourself from going through the same shit, then I'm going to tell you, you better get your shit together, and if you're not careful, you're going to end up being a washed up old crack whore. And then she's thinking, my dad don't trust me, he doesn't believe in me, I'm a piece of shit, obviously I'm not enough. And then what is she going to do? Exactly what the hell I told her she was going to do. Show them their greatness and share with them what you've learned on the journey. Quit trying to be such a hypocritical prick, acting like you got all your shit together. Share your wisdom so they can build on it and reinforce them in the greatness that they are so that they can have a frequency that allows them to allow the greatest of all things for them. And anytime there is an issue between you and a child, stop and quit the blame. Don't say it's them. It's not them. It's you. Figure out what you got to do to come to peace. And half the time it's like, when I was 12, my dad kicked my ass and said, it's time to be a man. This isn't real. This is something I'm making up or something I've heard from a past client or something, right? So, like, it's time for you to be a man. And so when my kid was 12, I kicked his ass and said, it's time to be a man. Well, if I stop, if I'm having the thought, I feel like kicking his ass and saying, it's time to be a man, then I say, how is it that I don't feel like a man when I just relax and follow my heart and feel my feelings and play? If I sort that shit out with me, I'll no longer project that on him. And that applies a million ways, in every way. Every time you have something that you think, if that child changed, then we would be okay, and you stopped and you said, what is it in me that's unresolved at that age? If they're 3 and you're thinking you need to smack the shit out of them to get them in line, you were probably smacked when you were 3 and you're just playing out the old trauma and not healing it, you're reinforcing it. So when it comes to parenting, just look at you. It's just like everything else I've been saying this whole call. Stop blaming. Look at you. Clear it up in you, and it will be gone. It will be as if it never existed in the child. They're simply playing. You showed up in a Spider-Man costume with the child, and so they put on their Green Goblin costume, and now they're just engaging with you from that place. Take your Spider-Man costume off. Come from Essence. They will take their Green Goblin costume off and come from Essence, and there's never any problems in Essence. Someone said building new habits, getting out of comfort zone. When it comes to getting out of your comfort zone, just take small leaps, small steps. Just slowly take on small things. Like right now I'm taking on Ironman. If you would have asked me to do that 2 years ago, or 3, or 4, or 5, or 10, or any other point in my life, I did not have the capacity to execute and follow through on that. So it would have been a bad idea, maybe not a bad idea, but maybe not an optimal idea for me to do that at those times, because then I would have not completed it, and then I would have used that to beat myself up and blame myself for being a piece of shit. But if I end the blame game and I stay in a healthy relationship with myself, and then I commit to small things. First, I committed to a sprint Spartan, which was like a 3 or 4 mile run, I think, with obstacles. Maxed me out. A few months later, I did an 8 mile Spartan with obstacles. Maxed me out. But the 4 miles didn't yet. I was able to do double. 3 months later, committed to like a 12 mile Spartan with a bunch of obstacles. Maxed me out, but did it. Then I did it again. And then I did it again. And then I joined Ironman. I did a sprint and then an Olympic, and now this weekend I'm doing a half, and then in a couple of months I'm doing a full. And my capacity keeps growing and expanding as I commit to small things and then expand up. So just start where you are, commit to things that you know you can finish those, and then later on you can do bigger things. And don't compare yourself to others and where they're at. That's not where you're at. If you try to, like one of the things I learned on the journey, I was trying to hold myself to a Jesus standard, and when I realized I'm not Jesus, I'm not Buddha, I'm not an ascended master yet, and the more I crucify and judge and condemn myself and try to hold myself to that standard when I don't have that capacity yet, it's about like trying to willpower my way through an Ironman without training for it. So give yourself plenty of space. Like the example was the relationship I was in at the time. She was choosing to relate with other men and date other men. We had been in a long-term relationship. She was choosing to date other men, and she was saying, if I want to have sex, I'm going to have sex. I'm going to do whatever. And I was trying to stay in the relationship while allowing her to have her journey and process, with the thought that if I was beyond ego, then this wouldn't bother me, and I could allow her her journey, and we could still be in a space of love. So I watched her night after night from our home, leave our home, have men pull up in my driveway, her get all spiffed up and pretty. She got a boob job about that time. She was very good looking, and she would get all spiffed up, walk out my door. I would stay home with my baby girls. She would get in a vehicle with a different man and drive off and do who knows what for who knows how long. And I would stay at home and do my best to move through my ego and love myself and work through my stories and fears and doubts and insecurities and unloved places to come to peace with that. And it was a tremendous, tremendous experience. Just a minute. In just a minute. You can open it. You and Eliza open it. So I was doing a tremendous transformation, and there came a time where the voice basically said, hey, if you don't love suffering, stop holding yourself to a Jesus standard. You're not Jesus. You're not at this capacity yet, and it's just like it's too much. If you keep on this path, you're creating more trauma than you have the current capacity to transmute. Create space and safety for yourself. You can heal without it being hard and miserable. You can come to this ascended master state of having no ego and being at peace regardless of what others are choosing. But suffering is not required if you don't require it. And so I learned and transformed so much watching this happen over and over and over and over and over, and facing myself, and instead of judging her and them and all of it, coming back and owning it and owning it and owning it, and the amount of transformation and transmutation I did, and the pain I was transmuting through that process is just unbelievable. But the point of this message is you don't need to hold yourself to a standard that is so high that, like, suffering is an optional path to enlightenment, but it's not required whatsoever. There's a lot easier path that goes, like, it's like you're in Life Happens to Me, and you can either go straight to enlightenment through suffering, intense, tremendous, insane suffering, or you can take a journey over to Life Happens by Me, Life Happens through Me, and then back over to Life Happens as Me and land in total liberation and transformation, having an enjoyable journey on the process. Either way is fine. If you love suffering, you can just suffer your ass off and go straight to enlightenment. But it's unnecessary, and it's really walking the edge, and I'm grateful for all the suffering I chose, and I'm grateful for how I chose to stop suffering and to move through life enjoying the journey and having fun on the journey and creating how epic can I have it and how can I learn and transform on the process to epicness. Doesn't need to be hard, doesn't need to be miserable. It's just as powerful to go the fun route. You will still get there and you will have a ton of fun doing it. It's way more fun. It's like, hey, would you like to go to Disneyland? Or what's a shitty place? Or like a coal mine. Like we can either go mine coal for the like miserable, or we can go to Disneyland and they're both going to give you the same transformation. You're going to end up in the same place. Which do you choose? I don't know. Maybe there's something more miserable, like swimming in acid or something. I don't know. So they're both going to get you there. It's just a choice. And I suggest, and what you focus on expands. So if you're focusing on what's wrong with you and what's wrong with life and what's wrong with humanity and what's wrong with America and what's wrong with politicians, what's wrong with the world, what's wrong with yourself, and you're focusing on what needs fixed, then you're focusing on the problem and it will expand. But if you focus on what do I choose, what do I want, what would be most ideal for me? So when I got that, I was like, most ideal isn't me sitting here watching my wife go off with other people fucking around. That's not what I choose and desire. Great, that's a path to enlightenment. I see how that can get me there. But what would be an awesome path would be being in a relationship with the woman of my dreams, attending a coaching process or going on an adventure or learning to communicate authentically and heal our shit by facing it together with love and transforming it through co-creative action, maybe attending a workshop or a seminar or hiring a coach or raising our frequency in whatever way. There could be this awesome journey. We could have epic sex. We could be deeply connected. We could have authentic, loving, conscious communication and co-create and collaborate on our transformation as a journey together of enjoyment and fun and passion and connection on the journey rather than fucking suffering through it. There's infinite paths to transformation and enlightenment. It sure as hell don't have to be miserable. That's just a choice. Thanks, Brandon. So how do you build new habits and get out of comfort zone? Stretch yourself. Do things that you haven't done before. And start with small things. And when you're building new habits, start with small things. Seriously, if it has to start so small with, I commit to drinking at least 1 glass of water today. Start there. I commit to tying my shoes before I leave the house. Like, start there if you have to. Seriously, that's where I had to start. I was so far in the hole, I couldn't even count on myself to do that kind of shit when I started this journey. And now it's like Ironman, which is just frickin' insane. I've got a 9-hour workout coming up in a couple weeks here. It's like, she's like, yeah, you're going to start first thing in the morning and you go all day and then you can come home and have some family time. So, or even what I'm doing right now, like I'm like, how the hell am I training for Ironman all these hours every day, raising a daughter as a single parent and running my business and doing all this stuff? Like, it's humanly impossible for the old version of me or for like probably like 95% of humans, just because of a capacity thing. and it's stretching me, and I'm like, can I do this? Some days I'm like, I can't do this, and then I'm like, yes, I can. And it's just expanding my capacity to manage bigger and cooler things. The difference between a CEO and an employee, an average employee, is the CEO has the capacity to manage lots of big things and shift and stay in their power, versus get thrown off course every time they're handed a big issue. That's all. Same thing with a business owner or a person. If you want to create epicness in your life, the only thing that's required is that, one, you learn from your mistakes, but so there's more than one thing required, but some of the main things required, and the main thing I was going to accentuate right now is the ability to shift from the drift so that you can handle anything that comes at you and stay in power and address it with a clear space so that you can generate solutions easily. So just build new habits so start small. If it's, I commit to eating at least one fruit a day. I commit to eating at least one vegetable a day. I commit to at least walking for 5 minutes. I don't give a shit where you're at. Don't try to compare yourself to someone who's gone, light years ahead of you, who's been committed for a long time. Start where you're at and stretch yourself a little bit. And then when that becomes comfortable, stretch a little further. When that becomes comfortable, stretch a little further. And each one, it's just a little stretch. It's just a little scary. And the old one's like, I can't believe that used to scare me. It used to would have scared me to be on this call, or even to announce I was going to have this call. Now I could give a shit less. I'm posting a link. I'm doing a call. Like, zero fear whatsoever. So you just do it, and then it's no longer scary. Last couple of topics. One is opening your heart. How do you open your heart? This is a multi-layered thing, but the thing I want to share on it right now is the reason why you've closed your heart is because you've been hurt, and you're scared that if you open your heart, you will be hurt again. That will leave you vulnerable. It'll leave you at risk. So imagine back in the old times of castles and knights and moats and alligators and all this shit. So our thinking is, if I build a wall around my city and I put a moat with alligators and a drawbridge, then I'll be safe. But the problem is we've built the wall so well that not only is it protecting us from the intruders, it's protecting us from the loved ones. And so now we're all alone in our cold little city, and there's no access to sunshine. There's no access to loved ones. There's no access to our allies and friends and co-creative partners. It's just we're blocked off from everything, and we're all alone in our cold, dark little corner of the world, disconnected from everything. And just like we've blocked out the bad shit, we've blocked out the good shit. And so the solution is destroy all the walls. We're dynamiting the walls, and we're filling in the moat with the dynamite after we set the alligators free over in the swamp. And because we even love the alligators. Got a couple of head shakes out of that. So set the alligators free in their most friendly habitat. Dynamite the walls, fill in the moat, and then become such a great empower. Like, now imagine this light in the middle of the city. We're now planting a light in the middle of the city that is so bright and so loving and so powerful and so penetrating and such high frequency that no evil would dare pass or come even close. Thank you, Amanda. No evil would dare even come close to the light and the frequency and the love that is emitting from this light in the center of this city. Only goodness comes to the city Everything that is high frequency, equivalent, and matched and synced with the light and the beauty and the love and the joy of that light comes in easily, effortlessly. It's drawn to. And darkness cannot enter, because can darkness enter the light? Have you ever seen a flashlight that shines darkness? Can you walk into a bright room or out in the sun in the middle of the day and shine a light that shines darkness, that emits darkness? It doesn't exist, because darkness is simply lack of light, the absence of light. Darkness has no power. It just has a lack of power. It's funny. We fear something that has a lack of power, that has a lack of light. The only reason why we would do that is if we've forgotten that we're the light. If everywhere you go and everywhere you look, you are emitting light. Imagine coming out of you as light, at least from your eyes, if not from your whole being, so that you walk in a dark room, it lights up. You go to any dark place, anywhere, anyhow, it lights up. You engage in a dark conversation, you bring light to the conversation. When you love yourself so fully, and you've brought light to all the darkness within you, and you've torn down your walls and allowed your light to emit out, no darkness will ever permeate you again. And you will never need a wall again, because you become the source of your safety. Your love and your light become the source of your safety, not your walls. Commit to loving yourself fully and embracing your light fully, and start to dismantle your walls one step at a time as you replace that false sense of security with the only sense of real security you will ever feel, which is, I love myself so much that no matter what anybody says or does or thinks, I am in heaven. No matter what happens outside of me, I'm in heaven, because I am focused and connected with Source and with love right here, regardless of what happens out there. There's nothing that can derail me. This is how you open your heart. This is how you create peace. This is how you create abundance. This is how you create love. This is how you draw into you all that you most desire, is you focus on this and you release all else. The final topic request was, how do I release attachment? The reason why we have attachment is because we don't love ourselves. When I don't love myself, I have a void within me. It's like a black hole, a never-ending, insatiable draw to fill this hole. And so I buy nice shit, and I buy big cars and houses and things, and try to keep up with the Joneses, and I try to have lots of sex with as many people as possible, and I do alcohol and drugs and anything and everything to try to make me happy. Sometimes women even have babies to try to make them happy. Like, I'll bring a baby into the world and make that baby responsible for making me happy. How's that? Because I'm not willing to give it to myself. Or I will get in a relationship and be pissed off trying to have that person make me happy because I'm unwilling to make myself happy. And then I'll blame them for not giving me what I'm unwilling to give myself. If you want to release attachment, do everything I've said so far, and blame, and bring love to yourself so fully that you no longer need anything outside of you to fulfill you. You're so cute, friend. And when you need nothing outside of you to fulfill you, you will no longer think, I have to have this relationship to be happy. I have to have this money to be happy. I have to have these people's acceptance to be happy. So we attach to people's approval because we haven't been willing to source our own well-being. We attach to a religious belief system or any belief system to give us security because we're unwilling to give it to ourselves. We attach to a relationship or a person because we're unwilling to give it to ourselves. So we're scared of floating in space and just enjoying the ride, so we think we need to be attached to things. As long as I have my car, my house, and my money, and my social acceptance, and my relationship, and all this stuff, then I'm okay. But when we make ourselves okay within, by coming to peace within, and loving ourselves fully within, and shifting our focus from what's wrong with us to what's right with us, we will no longer be attached to anything. We will only be grateful for everything. We will expect nothing and appreciate everything. When a relationship wants to come to an end, we don't say, oh no. We go, thank you for the amazing journey we've taken together. I look forward to seeing you at some point in the future on the path. We become unattached. We become free. We become peaceful.
Dad,
What, sweetie?
it's paper.
It's raining paper, huh? So, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for honoring this space. Again, from here on out, I will be sharing when inspired to do so. I request that you keep the energy of this group alive, that you take responsibility for creating what you want this group to be, that you help guide the group, that you help support the group, that you help hold the group on course, and you bring the love, you bring the integrity to the group, and that you continue to engage so that the magic continues to move forward. I may still do a training every week. I don't know. It'll probably come and go and flow. Like some weeks maybe I'll do 2. I don't know. Some weeks 1 or none. So we're just going to go with the flow, and I'm going to allow it to move through me. My final request for today is a typical request. Please post your experience of the training and your breakthroughs and your ahas, and encourage others to participate and engage. And thank you. Create an amazing rest of the week.